We've got a triple header playoff weekend in Kansas. We'll get you ready for it. Plus the pride of Emporia, Kansas. Clint Bowyer, he stops by.
NASCAR Daily with Shannon Spake.
Happy Friday, everyone. We've made it to the end of the week. I hope everyone is staying safe out there as this tropical storm moves through the country. The weather here in Charlotte's getting pretty bad right now, so sending a lot of prayers to everybody that's in the path of all the bad weather as we get ready for Kansas this weekend. I'm Shannon Spake. Welcome to NASCAR Daily. We have a really busy weekend out at Kansas. All three of NASCAR's top three series are in playoff mode. ARCA series also racing out there this weekend. So we've got ARCA and truck practice qualifying and the races taking place today. All that starts at 1 o'clock. You can see that right there. Then tomorrow we've got Xfinity Series, Cup Series, P&Q. The Xfinity Series race starts at 3:30. That's pre-race. Remember, that's on CW. And then tomorrow, 2:30 USA. We're kicking off the round of 8 out there in Kansas. Okay, so as I mentioned, all three series in the playoffs. It is a cutoff race for the truck series. They're going to drop to 8 drivers after Kansas. Lane Riggs has played spoiler the first 2 weeks or the first 2 races, I should say, winning both of those. He is not a championship contender. We've got Daniel Dye and Ben Rhodes, who are below the cut, 2-time champ Ben Rhodes, by the way. For the Xfinity Series, they're just kicking off their playoffs. Justin Allgaier is on top of the standings right now. He's 27 to the good. So we'll see if Little Gator can get championship number 1 this season. Certainly kicking off the playoffs pretty well out there in Kansas. And Cup Series, yes, we are starting the round of 8 in the Cup Series. So very exciting. Remember, Tyler Reddick won this race 1 year ago. Kyle Larson was the winner of this race when we were there in the spring. And we never know what's going to happen in Kansas. So whenever we head to Kansas, there is one person and one person only that I want to talk to, and that's my good friend Clint Bowyer, who's checking in right now. Clint's here in North Carolina. Are you guys being safe and staying safe out there?
Well, way safer than people over west, just west of us, Asheville area. My gosh, all of our friends down in Florida. You're a Floridian. They got hammered down there. Just scary times, right? These storms are vicious and they don't wait for anybody. But we're pretty good here. A little bit of wind and quite a bit of rain so far. We'll see.
All right, what have you been up to lately, man? I see the playoff beard, the off-season beard going. So what have you been up to?
Well, it's hunting season, Shannon, and I've been benched. I mean, every year we get benched halfway through the year. We have our portion, our Fox portion, have so much fun starting the season off for NASCAR. And we have to hand the ball over to Burton and the boys, Steve Letard, all the guys. They've been doing a great job. Been keeping up with them. Watched last weekend. A lot of chaos ensued. I mean, it was a boring race, but holy cow, was there some ingredients that I didn't see. Didn't have Truex getting beat the first round of the playoffs on my bingo card. I did not see that. Keselowski, I did not see him going out the first round. And Ty Gibbs, my counterpart, booth mate Harvick, has been a huge Ty Gibbs fan this year, and that's 2 Gibbs cars out of the way already.
Yeah, it was a boring race unless, of course, you're Kyle Larson, part of the 5 team, part of.
I think it was boring for him too. The best tweet that I saw is from NASCAR Chasm that Larson just lapped himself. That's how far ahead he was, and that's pretty much sums up Bristol.
I know also that you love Kansas. And what's really cool is that earlier in the spring, you got to be part of that call, right? We've heard it so many times, the closest finish in NASCAR Cup Series history, and you were in the booth and you got to call that. What was that like to be part of that?
First of all, it's extremely exciting. It's hard not to, for me, just to jump through the window and get out there with all my rowdy friends in the stands and celebrate with them because of what we just saw. Hard to compose yourself, hard to come up with the words, find anything to say instead of just being a fan. I remember Atlanta, we were fortunate enough to be a part of that wild, crazy, close finish, 3 wide. And Harvick, we got done. Harvick's like, I couldn't say anything. I was like, man, me either. I don't even know what the hell we said, We go back on. I had to rewatch it to even figure out what we said. But it's so fun to be able to be a part of those amazing moments. Hard not to be a fan. I was such a fan of Chris Buescher. I hate to say it. I wanted Buescher to win that race. I thought he did win that race. I was so excited for him. And what do you mean Larson won again? It's like it was so close, so exciting. And it's going to be that way again. you know, you want to talk about selling Kansas Speedway. It's so easy to do. So much is become of Kansas Speedway. Legend Shopping Center. My gosh, there's a casino on the back straightaway. If you didn't have enough gambling on the racetrack with FanDuel, let's go back there on the back straightaway and throw some down on the blackjack table. It's all right there at Kansas Speedway. Remember, you know, the first race there, watching on top of a Winnebago through a pretty foggy lens, but watch Jeff Gordon win his first race, the inaugural race at Kansas Speedway. Just a lot of great memories there. Not the best racetrack for me, not the best racetrack for NASCAR over the years. I will say that, but they fixed that place. They fixed that baby in a big way. I'm going to tell you right now, any fan ask Clint Bowyer where to go watch a race for their first race ever, I'm going to tell them Kansas Speedway. I believe in my heart that's our best product for NASCAR right now. Since the repave, their outside restarts, my gosh, the restarts are crazy chaotic, 3, 4, maybe even 5 wide. You're going to see it all at Kansas. You see the closest race in NASCAR history, the finish there. Seen some wild finishes, seen Hamlin knock Larson out of the way. By the way, those are 2 championship favorites. So maybe some haymakers come out, the gloves come off at Kansas Speedway yet again.
How far did you grow up from the Speedway? And like, I know you just mentioned watching Jeff Gordon in the very first race, but like, was a young Clint Bowyer like, man, one day I'm going to race big time Cup Series racing here at this racetrack?
Heck yes. Probably about 80 miles down the road, but right down the turnpike. Drove by it every single week going to Lakeside Speedway, just 5 miles down the road. I mean, that was my home track. That's what we did every single week. Drove by that place and you're like, oh man, if we could go win over here on this Friday night, maybe we could turn it into a Sunday afternoon race over there at Kansas Speedway Sunday. And finally got that chance, right? I remember pulling in there. I remember getting on that racetrack for the first time. I remember thinking, this place is so big. And I also remember losing to Greg Biffle there, which in my mind, I did not lose that race, Shane. You need to focus for 1 second and listen to my story. I won that damn race. I won the race. It should have been my trophy. Greg Biffle cheated me out of it. He ran out of gas. Clearly, you go back from any camera angle they ever show, you can clearly see he's out of gas. Didn't hold pace car speed, pulls off into the infield because he wasn't going to physically make it across the finish line, and they dubbed him the winner. And here I am sitting there. Even I think it was Jeff Gordon or Jimmy Johnson, one of them, pulled up beside me. He's like, go take your win. So I finally pull up. He's driving off over into the infield out of gas with not even the engine running, and they give him the trophy. Still chaps both sides of my rear end right now, I can tell you that.
And I pulled some pictures because, I mean, listen, if there's one thing that I knew over the years, every time we went to Kansas, Clint Bowyer wanted to win at that racetrack. And we're friends. Like I've been friends with Clint. We've known each other since 2005.
Yeah, look at those.
I know. I pulled some of that's Bristol. I love that picture. And then
I remember that one.
Yeah,
2 little baby boys come out. Yeah. Holy cow. We look very young in a lot of those pictures there. What has happened to us, Shannon? Well, I guess what's happened to me? Seems like I've aged a lot more than you have. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I'm fighting father time every single step of the way for sure. Okay, before I let you go, who's your championship for, Clint? Who you got?
Easy. This is easy. Of course, you have the 5-ball and Kyle Larson. But you need to go back in the notes because I know you have a lot of notes. You go back in the notes at the beginning of the year, and old Clint said, listen to me very carefully. Christopher Bell is very quiet. We all know that. Quiet in interviews, quiet on the racetrack, quietly gets those results. Quietly in the championship for almost every single time you look over your shoulder. That being said, I said at the beginning of the year, it's Christopher Bell's year. He's going to quietly win this championship, and everybody's going to go, where the hell did that come from? And you're going to look and say, man, I can't believe Clint knew that. Kyle Larson is who he's going to have to beat. We all know that. Somehow, some way, I know. I don't even want to say it. But Denny Hamlin's probably going to be a part of that 4. And then I think there's going to be a surprise. And who's that going to be? It's going to be Joey Logano.
Okay.
Same guy that gets it done every single time out of nowhere. Where did he come from? Now he wins the championship and drives off into the sunset, and all those guys, all these teams, all these organizations, drivers, everybody's going, how the hell did that happen? So there's your championship 4, but I think this time, Christopher Bell gets it done.
So you said Christopher Bell, Denny, Joey, and who was your other one?
Logano.
Okay. Joey Logano. Yeah, I said that. Joey, Denny, Christopher, and who?
Oh, Larson.
Okay, Larson, got it. I wrote
Yeah.
it down. I wrote it down in my notes for you, my friend. You're awesome. Be safe. Keep the family safe. Give all the family a hug for me, and we'll see you at Daytona 500. If not before then, I've got to fly in my room here.
Kansas Speedway, baby. It's home time. Let's go.
Bye, Clint. So on Fridays, I kind of like to flash back to some memories of me at the racetrack and some of the things that I've been able to do over the seasons. And so 16 years ago tomorrow, I was able to get my very first Cup Series victory lane interview. And for anyone out there, you know, that you're working a job, when you get the opportunity to kind of step into that main role and do something that you've dreamt of for so long, it's a pretty cool moment. It was also a very cool finish. It was at Kansas Speedway, Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson back in 2008. This is one of the greatest finishes that I've seen at Kansas, obviously, except for what we saw earlier this year. Take a look at this.
The lead is down to 2 car lengths, and Carl Edwards is on the hunt. Takes it way to the outside, all the way up. Nearly gets a piece of the wall. Gets a great run on Johnson. He's on his back bumper.
Here's Edwards. Bonsai move to the bottom of the racetrack. Slides under Johnson. He'll grab the lead. He's in the wall. Edwards slams the wall, and Johnson cuts back to the bottom.
Jimmy Johnson comes back to the bottom as Carl drives it in too hard. He hits the wall. Jimmy Johnson is going to win today, taking the Camping World RV 400.
Let's go down to victory lane and Shannon Spake.
Jimmy Johnson pulled his 48 car, took a big sigh, huge smile on your face. Jimmy, walk me through that last lap. What was going through your mind as a 99 was coming on strong?
Where'd he come from?
So that was the first time I was ever on pit road for a victory lane in the Cup Series. And anytime you can get 7-time champ Jimmy Johnson on the show, it's a good day. He, of course, would go on to win the championship that season, won 7 races in 2008. I love that memory. And every time we go to Kansas, I think about it. So I wanted to share it with all of you. Enjoy the races this weekend, everybody. Be safe if you're dealing with some bad weather. And we will see you on Monday to break everything down.
NASCAR Daily with Shannon Spake.